Once upon a time, a student approached his yoga teacher and he had a complaint. The yoga teacher would always tell him how it is important to control the mind, why in the yoga practice it is so very important to control the mind. And the student said, "Why don't you teach me something different today?" The instructor told him that I'll give you one assignment. You just have to do this assignment, and tomorrow evening I'll give you a fresh lesson. The boy was excited. He said, "Please tell me what I need to do." And the teacher looked at the student and he said, "Till the time you come back tomorrow evening, don't think of the red-faced monkey." What exactly are you thinking right now? The red-faced monkey, isn't it? And the boy went around, and next day he came back, exasperated. He fell down at his teacher's feet and he said, "I'm so sorry, I couldn't complete this assignment." And the teacher asked him, "What happened?" He said, "You told me to not think of the red-faced monkey, and my mind did not stop even for a moment. It just kept thinking of only that red-faced monkey." The teacher smiled at him and he said, "Now you sit down here, and for the next 10 minutes, just think of the red-faced monkey." And the boy tried, and he could not just think of the red-faced monkey. So many thoughts started barging into his consciousness. And the teacher smiled at the student, and the student understood the gravity, the difficulty in trying to control and master our inner thought process, our inner mind. Doesn't that happen with all of us all the time? It becomes so difficult to forget some insulting words someone spoke to us, or it becomes so difficult to let go of some painful memories of some loved ones, or it sometimes becomes very difficult to let go of a harmful habit or a behavior pattern. All these are like that red-faced monkey for us. And when this boy was asked to think of the red-faced monkey, he could not. Similarly, there are things which we are supposed to remember, but we are not able to remember. Like how many times we find it difficult to remember the kind gesture of somebody else? How many times we forget all the positive things that has happened in our lives? How many times we forget all the blessings we have received in our lives? We tend to forget. Looks like things which we should remember, we keep forgetting, and things which we like to forget, we keep remembering. Looks like there is something inside of us who is not with us. And this experience of this young boy gives us a glimpse into the nature of the mind. In the text called the Gita, Arjuna expresses the nature of the mind, and he uses 4 adjectives for expressing it. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavadranam. First characteristics of the mind is it's chanchala, or flickering in nature, which means the mind doesn't stay focused at one thing. It keeps hovering from one object to another object, one thought to another thought, one situation to another situation. We practically see our preferences keep changing. Something we love today, we may start hating tomorrow. Something that we are totally obsessed with today, we may not stand its presence tomorrow. It may happen in relationship, career opportunities, or any other aspect of our life. Our obsession often transforms into hate. The second characteristics of the mind is, it is agitating in nature, pramathi, which means it will keep bringing some agitating, some disturbing thought to you again and again. How many times have we struggled with this? We want to get rid of some thought, but that thought comes even sometimes unsought for. It comes on its own and agitates us, disturbs us, makes things difficult for us. That is the nature of the mind. Then the third characteristics of the mind is, it is strong in nature, balavat, which means sometimes our rationalization, our knowledge, our good sense of understanding what should be done and what should not be done appears very tiny in front of the demands of the mind. Now that demand of the mind could be influenced by peer pressure or fear of missing out or our environment or our own personal desires and ambitions. But at times our rational thinking falls very tiny in front of our emotional thinking. That is balavad, or very, very strong. And the fourth characteristics of the mind is dridham, or obstinate in nature. It's very rigid. It doesn't tend to change even though you give all kind of reasons. It doesn't tend to budge from its standpoint unless you fulfill the demands of the mind. So after hearing these 4 characteristics of the mind, we might wonder that the situation is hopeless, but no. Krishna advises in the Gita that there are two things which we can do in order to constructively deal with the mind. First is practice, abhyasa, practice of learning to live in the present moment, practice of keeping our entire focus on the task at hand, also popularly known as mindfulness. And the way we can actually train our minds to become more focused on the present is through meditative practices. Just like there is weight training for the muscles, similarly, meditation, the process of meditation is like training for the mind to learn to remain focused in the present moment. The second thing Krishna speaks about is detachment. Detachment from things, situations, and people which may tend to make you weak. Just like if someone is aspiring to participate in athletic competition, they may refrain from certain kind of dietary habits just to make them suitable for the goal that they've envisioned themselves for. So ask yourself, how would you like to see yourself 10 years down the line? And if the current temptations or challenges or suggestions that the mind comes up with interferes with that goal or dream, then be detached from it. Don't indulge in it. And when we do these two things for a considerable period of time, then we start seeing tangible improvements. And once we have developed significant ability of channelizing our mind constructively, then the third thing, which is also recommended, is vigilance. Vigilance means if the mind wanders still, we tend to bring it under the control of these two practices time and again. So with practice, through detachment and proper vigilance, we can tame this extremely powerful energy that we all carry for extremely constructive purposes. Please remember, my dear friends, mind is a beautiful servant, but if uncontrolled, it could be a dangerous master.